We've been joined by our chief guest for the evening. With your permission, ma'am, we will start our program for today. Namaskar and welcome to the National Museum, New Delhi. Respected Your Royal Highness, the Crown Prince of Denmark, Your Royal Highness, the Crown Princess of Denmark, respected Minister of State for External Affairs and Culture, Srimati Meenakshi Lekhi ji, respected Minister of Foreign Affairs of Denmark, His Excellency Lars Rasmussen, Indian Ambassador to Denmark, Her Excellency Pooja Kapoor, Danish Ambassador to India, His Excellency Freddie Swain, Director General National Museum, Srimati Lili Pandeya, all ambassadors and respective members from various embassies, our esteemed guests in the audience. A warm welcome to members from the media fraternity who've come to cover this event. Thank you for joining us today. On behalf of Team National Museum, I, Javeria Tanveer, take this opportunity to welcome each one of you to today's event. We've gathered here to inaugurate our special exhibition titled Silver Treasures from India and Denmark, a collaborative exhibition celebrating and showcasing the history and brilliance of Indian and Danish silver collection from the National Museum, New Delhi and Museum Kolding, Denmark. Moving forward with this event, we will now start the function with our traditional ceremony of lighting the lamp. Asato ma sadgamaya, tamaso ma jyotirgamaya, mrityor ma amritam gamaya. Meaning, lead us from ignorance to truth, lead us from darkness to light, lead us from death to eternity. With this thought in our heart and mind, I would request our Director General, Srimati Lili Pandeya ji, to lead our chief guest and other VIPs to the stage, please. It would be our pleasure to have His Royal Highness the Crown Prince of Denmark, Her Royal Highness the Crown Princess of Denmark, Madam Meenakshi Lekhi, Her Excellency Pooja Kapoor, His Excellency Lars Lokke Rasmussen, His Excellency Freddie Swain, Mr. Christian Gangster Rasmussen, and Mr. Rune Ottgren Lundberg to participate in the lamp lighting ceremony, please. kindly take your seat in the audience, please. I would request our Director General, National Museum, Srimati Lili Pandeya ji, to kindly present her welcome address.
Good afternoon and many greetings to you. Your Royal Highness Crown Prince of Denmark, Your Royal Highness Crown Princess of Denmark, His Excellency Lars Lokke Rasmussen, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Denmark, Srimati Meenakshi Lekhi, Minister of State for External Affairs and Culture, India, His Excellency Freddie Swain, Danish Ambassador to India, Her Excellency Pooja Kapoor, Indian Ambassador to Denmark, Mr. Rune Ottergren Lundberg, Director, Museum Cologne, Denmark, Mr. Christian Gangsted Rasmussen, Founder and Chairman of the Gangsted Foundation, Denmark, Honourable Ambassadors, Excellencies, guests from all the embassies, and my colleagues from National Museum, and friends from Indian and Danish media. As Director General of National Museum, I am deeply honoured to welcome all of you to this grand afternoon today. As nature blooms in spring, we join in rejoicing and celebrating its beauty with the inaugural of the splendid exhibition Bharat Evam Denmark Ki Rajat Dharohar, or the Silver Treasures from India and Denmark, a unique curatorial collaboration and cultural exchange between Museum Cologne, Denmark, and the National Museum, India, showcasing the magnificent silver legacy of India and Denmark. As we applaud the outcomes of international dialogue and the necessity of global cooperation, I am very delighted to share with you information about an important exhibition that was curated and recently inaugurated at Khajuraho, India, as a part of the first Culture Working Group meeting under India's G20 presidency, titled Readdress the Return of Treasures. Although separated by borders, our transnational cultural endeavors unite us as one and resonate with the theme of India's G20 presidency, Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, one earth, one family, one future. Silver Treasures from India and Denmark showcases more than 250 exquisite silver artifacts from both countries. Though the collection of silver at National Museum India dates back to the beginning of Indian civilization itself, for this exhibition, we have largely selected the masterpieces from our reserve collection to complement the silver legacy of Denmark. The collection in the exhibition is eclectic and has a diverse historical, cultural, and aesthetic range, awe-inspiring exhibits that will touch the hearts of all. I congratulate my entire National Museum team and team from Museum Cologne, Denmark, and the curators Komal Pandey, Steen Rosenbeng Lundberg, and Connie Ramskov for their efforts in making this exhibition, which is one of its kind, probably the first ever, showcasing the silver culture and artistic dialogue between our two countries, India and Denmark. I am certain that this exhibition will be a blissful delight to all our guests and spectators and will be remembered as a silver knot that binds India and Denmark together. I am hopeful that this collaboration will also inspire and refresh cultural and artistic dialogues between India and the world. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. It is my honor to now invite our next speaker to the podium, Minister of State for External Affairs and Culture, Srimati Meenakshi Lekhi ji.
His Excellency the Crown Prince of Denmark, Her Excellency the Crown Princess of Denmark, His Excellency Lars, Lokke, Rasmussen, the Foreign Minister of Denmark, His Excellency Ambassador of Denmark, Mr. Ferry Sven, Her Excellency Pooja Kapoor, our Ambassador in Denmark, Mr. Rune Ottogen Lundberg, the DG of Museum, Mr. Christian Galstedt, member from Culture Community, the Culture Ministry, Lili Pandeya, who's RDG of the museums here, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasure and honor to be welcoming the Crown Prince of Denmark and the Lady Princess from Denmark. Honored to collaborate in this exhibition. So far as the two countries are concerned, I must say, as Minister of State for External Affairs, I can say that whenever one looks at Denmark, one looks at a friend, and I'm sure the same feeling exists in the Danish minds and hearts, that when you look at India, you look at a friend. And the two friendly nations, which are bound by many ethos, many value systems, and one being democracy, value for law and order, and law-abiding citizens. I think these values go in a long, long way in having the common cultural heritage. When we were discussing this afternoon on a lunch table about women, the culture, and many other things, including food, I said the diversity which people simply talk about, we live through that diversity in our daily lives. And we do not want to convert anyone, whether in belief system or dressing sense or artistic pursuit, in any one way, because we believe ekam sat vipra bahuda vadanti, the truth is one, and there are many ways to reach that truth, because wise people speak the same truth differently as per their own mental capacity and ability. This year, India has got the presidency of G20, and in this presidency of G20, India has just finished with Culture Working Group the first consultations. And I think readdressing the cultural issues become very much part of our existence. And I've oft repeated, and I'm repeating it today, culture connects. Culture is a very positive force, because when you try and understand each other, even if one comes with certain hesitations, but those hesitations disappear and they melt away the moment you start to know the other person's perspective on the same thing. And the understanding of the perspective gives us a new perspective, and the new perspective and that new amalgamation of ideas is usually positive. So winning hearts and not really winning lands is the pursuit which we all must have. And with this winning of hearts, we are exhibiting the silver treasures today. And I must say, those who are uninitiated in the Indian cultural or civilizational value system, to know that we can go around the world talking about the first man-made dock in the world, which is from 6,000 to 8,000 BC in this country, in Lothal, which is today a dry area, but that's how ancient our sea routes would have been. And when you'll see the exhibits, you'll see some exhibits which are from 3000 BC onwards. So 3000 BC till date, the craftsmanship, the usage of various metals, the usage of various materials, from clay to silver to gold to diamond to painting to fabric, different weaves. That's what India is all about. Diversity in the truest sense, and the pursuit of happiness the way a person believes and the value system one attaches to. So creativity at its peak. Individualism, but collective overview of individualism. So you are an individual, but you have the ability to translate that into a collective effort when you do all these acts for the well-being of humanity and mankind. So you try and pursue the hearts and not really the land or the money or the material wealth. And we all believe that since civilization in this country has been as old as one can think of, or the oldest for that matter, we believe our time on this planet is limited. My time on this planet is limited as an individual, but the ideas, the civilization value system has to go on even after I leave this earth. And that's how Indian civilization has continued. And you will see in the pieces that how beautifully we've used silver, because that's the choice between the two countries. We did another exhibition recently, which was a Danish exhibition in this country, and that was done at Craft Museum. I just can't get over that exhibition. I still hold that exhibition in great regard for the simple reason that it showcased certain textile pieces, original textile pieces, which are found in archives in Denmark, 400 to 600-year-old. So at that time, when the traders were trading, the Danish traders were coming to the southern part of India and trading in textiles. And the best part was some of those designs, some of those methodologies of dyeing techniques, or for that matter, weaving techniques, exist till date. And the people who curated that exhibition were some very young people, age of my children, I can say that. And they were dressed, they got those very designs copied by artisans today and were dressed in those dresses, just to showcase the continuity of Indian civilization and their love for Indian civilization and textiles and the way we give importance to our heritage and culture. I was very touched with that exhibition, and I had a word with the DG this afternoon, and I said we must get the details of that exhibition, and maybe the next time we will collaborate and showcase our sizes of textiles, which are that period and maybe older period, put together a joint exhibition, and maybe take that exhibition to Brussels. That's how we could showcase the friendship between the two countries, and I'm sure EU will also look at it with positive light, that how the two countries can come together and culture can be a bond or a subject to bond over. With these words, enjoy today's exhibition in the Treasures of Silver. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, ma'am. I would now invite Minister of Foreign Affairs of Denmark, His Excellency Lars Lokke Rasmussen, for a special address on this occasion.
Your Royal Highnesses, Honourable Minister of State, esteemed guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great pleasure to be here today, accompanying the Royal Highnesses, the Crown Prince and Crown Princess of Denmark, for the opening of this fantastic silver exhibition. And I think it's right to say that we, with this exhibition, will take another important step in developing the ongoing friendship between India and Denmark. A friendship that goes back more than 400 years. And it is only right to celebrate our strong friendship with a silver exhibition. This precious metal is a living organism, like our friendship is a living thing. The signs of wear and silver are traces of life and beings. And I was privileged to be here 4 years ago, in 2019, visiting India as Prime Minister of Denmark. And since my last trip, I'm very happy to see the progress in our partnership and the progress in India, which is quite amazing. Talking about our partnership, it is developing and we will continue today, taking another important step within this exciting India-Denmark cultural exchange program. This program was signed when Honourable Prime Minister Modi visited Denmark last year. It is taking the friendship between India and Denmark to the next level, so to speak. We have joint political visions for the future green development and practical cooperation that bind us together. But cultural cooperation adds something more because we engage with our citizens and our history in a much closer and stronger way. I congratulate cultural partners in Denmark and India for initiating collaborations in a wide range of cultural areas. Last year, your Honourable Minister of State for External Affairs and Culture, Ms. Meenakshi Lekhi, also opened, as you just talked about, a textile exhibition, which kicked off a bigger textile cooperation between Denmark and India. India and Denmark both have rich legacies in historic craft and design. Our nations have different silver traditions, but the love for silver is shared. So I will like to extend my gratitude to you, Honourable Minister of State for External Affairs and Culture, Meenakshi Lekhi, for your personal commitment to the development of our bilateral cultural relations. I would also like to thank the Ministry of Culture of India, the Danish National Museum, Museum Kolding in Denmark, and Gangsted Foundation for their great work and support in bringing life to this beautiful exhibition. I'm sure that this is just the beginning of a strong, sustainable and long-lasting cultural collaborations which will only further deepen our bilateral ties. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. May I now invite the Director of Museum Kolding, Denmark, Mr. Rune Ottermeen Lundberg, to kindly deliver his address.
Your Royal Highnesses, Minister for State for Culture and External Affairs, Minister for Foreign Affairs in Denmark, Mr. Ambassador, Mrs. Ambassador, General Director, invited guests and media. It's with great pleasure I stand before you today to welcome you to the exhibition Silver Treasures from India and Denmark, together with the National Museum. I'm so proud that Museum Kolding has been given this opportunity to make an exhibition together with the National Museum and to show some of the finest silver we have in Denmark. The collaboration with the National Museum has been outstanding. For that, I'm so grateful. This exhibition makes a cultural milestone in the cooperation between India and Denmark. Culture creates a bridge where we can learn a lot from each other and gain insight into each other's worlds, similarities and differences. The exhibition is part of a cultural exchange program which continues until 2026. So there's much to look forward to within exchanges of culture, crafts, music and literature. The first contacts between India and Denmark were also about exchange through trade. The exquisite Indian craftsmanship and beautiful textiles became a sought-after commodity in Europe, and close links were established between our two countries through exchanges of goods. Here we share a common history. The history of silver in India dates back more than 5,000 years, as mentioned before, whereas the history of silver in Denmark is about 1,200 years old, dating back to the Viking Age. So there's a lot to be inspired by and learn from. This exhibition shows an exquisite selection of silversmiths' art from perhaps Denmark's finest silver collection from Museum Kolding and the Gangsted Foundation. Silver treasures dating from the 16th century to the present day. The exhibition shows a diversity in tradition and silver arts in Denmark and India. Among the masterpieces is a vase designed by Svend Hammershøi. The vase won gold at the International Exhibition for Modern, Decorative and Industrial Arts in Paris 1925. Finally, I would like to express my gratitude to the National Museum, New Delhi, the Danish Agency for Culture and Palaces, the Gangsted Foundation, colleagues from the National Museum and Museum Kolding. Without them, this exhibition would not have been possible. I hope everyone will have a great experience and be inspired by what exquisite craftsmanship, design, and tradition of silver can bring to the world. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It is my pleasure to invite Ms. Komal Pandey, co-curator of the exhibition, to the podium and request her to kindly give us an overview of the exhibition from the curatorial perspective.
I'm just waiting for my two co-curators to join. A very warm good afternoon to all of you. Thank you so much for joining us here. And since we are running short in time, please allow me to read a small snippet of our cooperation here. Silver speaks the language of beauty, gently stirs tranquility in heart and touches the spirit of the beholder. Celebrating the splendor and bringing the excellence of silver to our spectators, this exhibition is a collaboration between National Museum and Museum Kolding, Denmark. And when I say cooperation, it really means that we just did not decorate our silver in the hall, but we thought through and we thought of common themes that could resonate. The exhibition is really a cooperation. To be honest, it's a family-style curation that showcases more than 250 objects, exploring the intricacy of Indian craftsmanship. If I may slightly highlight what's going on in the exhibition, here the silver saga unfolds in 5 shared themes that elucidate A, historicity of silver, B, its role in connecting with the divine, C, the ornaments that talk about the personal taste of people from India and Denmark. We show the glimpses of silver that enhance the everyday lives of people. We show lastly the techniques and silver centers in India and in Denmark. We tried to do something together also in the exhibition, that is a small and special section that is dedicated to creating an imaginary garden of India and Denmark together. What we do in that showcase is that we place flora and fauna that we see in silver and try to understand how that would have inspired our silversmiths across borders. The magnificent silver from the National Museum collection is really vast, and we try to highlight our diverse cultural geography through that. And from Denmark, we actually see the names of the silversmiths whose objects we have placed here. So it's majorly about sung and unsung silversmiths that we try to put together in a silver sonnet here. So I welcome you all to join this exhibition with us and see the contrasting aesthetics and shared love that both India and Denmark has had for silver. Thank you so much. And I would like to quickly introduce his team from Museum Kolding and Connie from Museum Kolding. And with the cooperation of our individual museums, this has been possible. Very quickly, I would, because I'm also saying the vote of thanks, may I take a moment to thank each and every person. It's difficult to take names in India because we have to otherwise take everyone's name. But the first gratitude I would like to pay to the silversmiths of our country who have got us together. May I please have a round of applause for them. Had it not been for them, we wouldn't have been here today. of course, all the honorable guests who have joined us today, my Director General, and every person in the National Museum who made this exhibition possible. I'm truly grateful. This has been my first endeavor, and I really hope people will have it in their hearts to forgive all the mistakes that I have made. And whatever you see best in the exhibition is the grace of my teachers and my seniors. Whatever are the faults are all my own. It is possible I would have made some little mistakes, but please have it in your hearts to forgive us and enjoy the splendid journey of silver. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Distinguished guests and dignitaries, we would now be hosting a special preview of the exhibition for the chief guest and their delegation. I would request the curatorial team, Ms. Connie Ramsford, Mrs. Steve Rosenwinch, and Ms. Komal Pandey to kindly facilitate the preview for His Royal Highness, Her Royal Highness, Madam Meenakshi Lekhi, Her Excellency Pooja Kapoor, His Excellency Lars Rasmussen, His Excellency Freddie Spain, Madam Lily Pandeya, Mr. Rune Otgreen, and Mr. Christian Gangster Rasmussen. With this, I would request our esteemed guests to kindly be seated. Is leading the preview for our chief guests and their delegation. I would invite and request our distinguished guests present in the audience to kindly join us for high tea at the central rotunda, which will be followed by a preview. Officials from Denmark Embassy and the National Museum, New Delhi, are requested to escort all the guests towards the central courtyard for high tea. Thank you, each one of you. Have a great evening.